But what's up, Spencer Fearon, all the way in the United Kingdom? How are you, my friend?
How you doing, my brother? You good?
We're good, man. Just I'm still in shock.
What?
I didn't expect
Why?
Ugas to do it. I mean, for many reasons, I think maybe like politics. I thought politics would play its ugly face, scorecards, you know, so many things. I just didn't think that boxing would get it right if Ugas did what he did, and he did, and they did, and it's almost so foreign. It's almost hard to like feel good. Like I'm happy for Ugas. I'm watching him, and he's smiling, and I mean, his girl loves him. She's putting the glasses like, nah, take these pictures with glasses, hide those eyes. You love that support, and his smile, and he's saying, I translated his audio. He's saying how like people said Cuban fighters don't get support from Cubans, but he believes that that's false. That he felt their support last night. So it was. I mean, it's a story. It's a story, and we're just, we're boxing fans. We're moving on. We're like, okay, what's next?
It was a great win. As soon as this fight was announced, I did a video with Raz from IFL and Pro Bs as well. And straight away, I was telling to these guys, Ugas is going to win this fight. As soon as the fight was announced, he's too big, right?
Mm-hmm.
He's a crafty Cuban. He's a well-decorated amateur fighter as well. He win a bronze medal in the Olympics. It's just that he hasn't had a come out fight. We thought that a come out fight that he had was against Sean Porter. That was a very, very close, debatable loss on his side.
Mm-hmm.
So look at the things that he brought, the intangibles that he brought. And not only that, Manny Pacquiao at this time of his career, he would need a fighter like an Errol Spence that he could be a little bit wary of and think, oh shit, you know what, I've got to be on point here. Ugas wasn't bringing nothing on point, but for the guys with the true eyes, when I saw that, I'm looking at the size difference. I'm looking at the fundamentals that Ugas brings. He's technically very, very smart. He doesn't get the juice for how he boxes.
Mm-hmm.
All wrong for Manny Pacquiao. And also, Manny Pacquiao didn't respect him. Whenever you see Manny Pacquiao, and you know, because like this is more like you guys' era, whenever you see Manny Pacquiao come out and throw hands straight off of the bat, not like feel it out, I'm having a little feel before I'm going to let my hands go, straight off of the bat, Manny Pacquiao was letting off his hands because he had no respect for the opponent in front of him. I'm telling you, man. And he was rushing things in there as well, Manny. Right? You got to give Manny Pacquiao all the credit in the world. I don't believe that it's over for Manny Pacquiao because he didn't look dead to me. He just lost to the better fighter. Right?
What do you want to see him do next, though?
When Ali was at October of '98, when Ali boxed Larry Holmes, right? Ali was dead, right? Manny Pacquiao weren't dead. Right? Ali was finished in that.
But he
fight.
was definitely outsized. Like last night, everything he landed, it just didn't affect Ugas. Yeah, Ugas was a little bit bruised and swollen, but he never really hit Ugas with something that got his like attention or hurt him. In my point, did you see Ugas hurt?
Oh, I think it was like round 7. He let off. He hit Ugas with like a straight left hand, right hook, and it was like Ugas was like okay, and he like kind of covered up. He went straight back on his jab, and that comes from schooling because it's like you don't have to do all the razzle dazzle and all the rest of it. All you've got to do is be effective. And here is a man that ticks all the boxes. He's not great in every box. He's good in every box. But if you put good in every box, it mounts up, it makes you into a good fighter. And that's what Ugas demonstrated yesterday. I got all the credit in the world to Ugas, but anybody sensible, I knew straight away off of the bat. I said, Ugas is going to beat Manny Pacquiao. It's a banana skin. It's a banana skin because he be all wrong for Manny Pacquiao. All wrong for him. Especially at this. Manny Pacquiao hasn't been consistent. He hasn't boxed in 2 years. Yeah, he boxed fantastic against Keith Thurman. That's 2 years ago, though.
Mm-hmm.
Right, and these are the things that I was looking at. But you know what? Props to Manny Pacquiao because he didn't punk out in the fight. When things weren't going his way, he didn't punk out. And he could have. Because, I'm a multi-millionaire. I'm a god in my country. He could have punked out if he wanted to, and he didn't. He carried on fighting. but props to Ugas, and it's glad. And I hear you're talking about Cuban fighters.
Yeah.
Cuban fight.
Is this the biggest win for any Cuban fighter? Is this the biggest win of any Cuban fighter in boxing history for Cubans?
You know, it's going to have to be, because Manny Pacquiao is the most decorated champion in winning titles and having world title fights in history. He's with 43 world title fights, right? So that's ridiculous. So nobody's ever had that. But I would say it's the biggest win, but it's kind of a tainted win, because we can still say Manny Pacquiao was an old man in there, and they weren't the Manny Pacquiao of 6 years ago. But regardless, Ugas was the underdog for people who ain't really studying the game. I believe that I really studied the game, and that's why I had Ugas winning the fight. But yeah, it is the biggest win for a Cuban fighter. We could go back. Kid Gallivan was an incredible fighter from Cuba, who was welterweight champion, even boxed Sugar Ray Robinson. I think he was fighter of the year in like 53 or something. He was a really good fighter. He was the guy that he didn't invent the bolo punch, but what he done, he popularized the bolo punch. You know, when you roll the arm and throw the shot. He was a great fighter. He used to chop sugarcane, and that's how he learned how to do the bolo punch. He was a great fighter. The fighter you was thinking about, Teofimo Stevenson.
Yeah.
Right. No. Trust me. 3-time Olympic gold medalist. Right? And he was fed in America. Like, I remember Tyrell Biggs, who was this hot shot, who went on in the 84 to win the gold medal in the 84. Tyrell Biggs boxed him just prior to going to the Olympics, and Teofimo knocked him out. Teofimo was a very heavy-handed, dangerous man. Knocked out really good fighters in America who went on to become world champions. So you look, you know, like he was Big John Tate. In the amateurs, Teofimo Stevenson knocks him out. He was real. They actually based Ivan Drago in the Rocky movie off of Teofimo Stevenson. That's who they based it on. They based it on him because he was that powerful. I think when he was, I think it was George Foreman won the 68 Olympics at heavyweight. So the 72 and the 72, 76 and 80 Olympics, Teofimo Stevenson reigned supreme. Go and watch the guy. Seriously. If he'd have turned pro, he'd have done things. Trust me. If he'd have turned pro, he'd have done things. But
did he never defect?
Yeah, go check him out.
He never defected?
Pardon me? I can't hear you, sir. He didn't. And this is why. This is what you got to rate him. He was really a pro-Castro man. He loved Cuba. He said, why should I fight for $10 million when I got the love of 10 million people? Never turned pro. But a wonderful, wonderful fighter. So we have like Cuba has Kid Chocolate, the original Kid Chocolate. They have produced really, really good champions. Great champions like Jose Napoles, who was the former never welterweight as well. Jose Napoles, but he was Cuban, but he resided in Mexico. He defected. He was a fantastic, wonderful fighter. You know what I mean? So we have great fighters from Cuba, but a great win, like a massive upset where most people are saying like, wow, it's never been done. And I think this has to be Cuba's biggest win.
And
even though it's an old Manny Pacquiao.
Yeah, but even as an old man in Pacquiao, Ugas was a 3-1 underdog.
Yeah, I hear that. And like I said already, go listen to my AFL interview, man. They were giving away money there, man. They gave, and you guys in America should have benefited from it.
One of my listeners did, bro. He paid his fucking mortgage. He put $300 on it. That was $1,200, yo. Wow. This co-host picked him. I thought it was gonna be Manny Pacquiao by decision. Honestly, I just like politics. You know, Earl Spence needed that. Al Heyman needed that win. I didn't think this was gonna happen.
Yeah, I'm not a betting man, but I definitely had Ugas. Check me out again, King. I mean, the best 1 on Instagram. Check my blog, man. But I had Ugas winning because I said he's the consummate counterpuncher versus a guy that, you know, is susceptible to counterpunches in Manny Pacquiao. And he did well with Pacquiao's flurries. And, you know, this was not, to me, an upset, you know. This was just
It wasn't.
an affirmation.
It wasn't an upset to me at all. It wasn't. It was not an upset to me. He like it's crazy that sometimes we can buy into the hype, and then also we're looking at the fact that we're discrediting just how good Ugas is. Ugas is a very, very good fighter.
It wasn't fun for me. Like I was, people hated my commentary last night, but it was just that he was just jabbing. It was one at a time. I was begging for him to throw right hands. It was just one punch at a time. It was
you see, no, that's the beauty of the game. That you do what you do to win and you keep it consistent. Because at the end of the day, you're in with a man who history books are going to talk about him in the next 100 years. Mm-hmm. You realize this, right? History books are going to talk about Manny Pacquiao in this great esoteric kind of speech about how wonderful this man is and the things that he has accomplished. And not only just accomplished inside the ring, just his persona, how he comes across, how he's very engaging, how he's loved by his Filipino people.
Yeah, he's the Filipino Muhammad Ali.
Yeah, 100%. 100%. Seriously, yeah, 100%. And imagine, and he's the Filipino Muhammad Ali without even having to stand up for anything.
Well, he's standing up for his own people. He's bringing economics to his people, awareness.
Come on. I get what you're saying when he's a Filipino. I say he's the Filipino Muhammad Ali of the late tail end of Muhammad Ali's career when Ali became.
Of course, he didn't have
a representative, more as a representative, but not as far as the activist. I got you, Spencer. I get you.
Come on, man. Yeah, I mean, sometimes I wonder about my little Hispanic dark-skinned friend over here. Oh. Sometimes I got my reservations about this guy.
This guy. But let me see. We got a super chat here who says, Ugas beat Porter handedly, but whatever. He snatched the torch from the legend. His Super WBA title is official. I saw his fiance. Ugas is living his best life. He ain't going back and forth with anybody. That is absolutely true. Ugas is absolutely doing his thing right now, man. He's winning. What do you think is next, though, Spence? I mean, I'm thinking, obviously, Earl is hurt. The plan should be that PBC wants to do that in-house fight and unify. So give him something while Earl is nursing himself. So I'm thinking like I think
Kiefer.
I mean, Thurman might be a little. Isn't Danny the better name to make sure Ugas doesn't lose? Like, no disrespect to Danny, but Thurman has a shot, especially this version of Thurman. He's back training. He looked real slim on a telecast last night. You could tell he putting in miles. He got the tan.
Yeah, you know what? I could see like Danny because the Danny fight. Danny's still a respectable name, right? He's very marketable, especially his old man. His old man starts talking the trash as well, and that fight could sell. Nobody will really complain and say, "Well, you don't deserve a win," because when Ugas won the WBA regular title, he rinsed that belt like no one else's business. You know what I mean? So, right, he did. He rinsed the belt so much that the gold came off. Right, so he now can. Danny Garcia is a good name. He's a very viable name. He's known across the waters. I'm in the UK. Forget that I'm the guy when it comes to boxing, but we know him. Mm-hmm. So they could put that fight in because it's still a viable fight. I could see that fight happening. But I would like to see him versus Keith Thurman. I would love that. I'd love to see that fight because I know what that fight would bring. Sean Porter's allegedly meant to be fighting Terence Crawford if that fight happens. You know what I mean? The guy that I really feel sorry for out of all of this is actually Terence Crawford. I do. I really do feel sorry for him. He was sitting out waiting to try and get the Manny fight. Manny fight eluded him, right? He been going back and forth with Errol Spence. That ain't happened. So it's like I kind of.
You seen what he said though? You seen what Terence said yesterday on Instagram? He said, "Looks like Spence gonna need me after all, though." And he put like, I don't know, showing all the teeth emoji. And then he says,
Yeah.
I know you're really mad about that fight last night because I was, but not in a hating way, just in a missed opportunity way. Don't beat yourself up about it, champ. Don't beat yourself up about it. Get well, champ. So he's basically telling Crawford, you need me. Earl, that now that you couldn't get Pacquiao, you need me for your legacy. Do you believe Earl needs Crawford for his legacy?
Yes. And the simple thing is, how are we going to be sitting down saying, well, we've got two unbeaten welterweights not fighting? They both hold belts and then not fighting each other. Do you think that would happen in 1981 September in Las Vegas? Sugar Ray Leonard, Tommy Hearns? Never would that have happened, right? Never would that have happened.
I don't know why you say that all the time, man. Showtime put a documentary that made it seem like Leonard did not want to fight Hearns and Hagler. Both of those fights he had to be forced into. There's interviews with Emmanuel Stewart on record saying that Leonard will never fight Hearns until it actually happens. So it's just like now, like we want certain fights and we don't get them till we get them.
Ness, you're talking to me, bro.
I'm asking you,
right?
I'm
telling you now, right? Originally, Sugar Ray Leonard and Tommy Hearns should have fought each other in 1979 for $100,000 each. You're talking to me now. You're not talking to right. The fight didn't happen because Angelo Dundee said, "Nah, let's make that fight grow."
And
right?
Angelo Dundee is Leonard's trainer.
Leonard's manager and trainer. He was on paper as manager and his trainer.
Okay, but ain't that what happening now? Crawford wanted to fight Earl, and Earl said, yeah, 60-40. Nah, 50-50. All right, 70-20. Like, it's the same shit.
But this is, unfortunately, now,
how many years it took to make? How many years it took to make, Spence?
What's good for boxing, what's bad for boxing is, like, fighters are more involved in their own careers, right? But certain times, you have a manager for a reason. If you've got a proper manager, you have a manager for a reason. If you don't have a manager, you might have a very, very good advisor, right? And what's happened now is, like, with this text, tweet, Insta, TikTok era that we're living in, right? Guys are more engrossed in posting stuff instead of saying, right, well, let's go fight because I want to fight the best. You can only get regarded as being the best by fighting the best. So when I'm telling you, like, the 1981 September fight between Tommy Hearns and Ray Leonard, the reason why I'm using
that's
that
3 years. So that's 3 years you're saying that it took, because you said Dundee said no in 79.
79.
So 3 years it took to make.
2 years. Took 2 years.
Oh, wow.
Because at the end of 79, November 79, Sugar Ray Leonard beats Wilfred Benitez for the World WBC title. And then you go on, Pepino Cuevas gets knocked out by Tommy Hearns. I think that was October of 80. And then it started to build. And then, right, we both got titles. It's a big fight, and they spun a lot of money. And I mean, they spun a lot of money back in the day. I think Angelo.
So that's but why isn't that what's happening right now? What's different between now and then?
Because guys now are saying, I'm the best. But I'm the best, but I don't need to prove it.
Nah,
but I'm the best.
I mean, but if we keeping it in context, Earl's never said he don't need to prove it. He just said, I'm the best. I got the hardware, so I deserve the lion's share.
Yeah, I hear that. But Errol Spence, you know what?
That's
Errol
the same
Spence's
AJ argument. AJ says I brought the belts.
Apparently, yeah. Errol Spence's argument is a valid one, right? But how it is this? It's like you have the best welterweight in the world, which I would say is Errol Spence. The better pound for pound fighter is Terence Crawford because of his accomplishments. He's a multiple weight world champion. So put this to bed. You guys go and have the thing, because we're sitting down as fans, as boxing fans, as purists, as historians, as writers of the sport, as bloggers, as YouTubers. We're saying that's the fight that we want to see.
Is that fight tainted for you now, though? Is that fight tainted for you now because of the injury with Earl? Like, if this fight happens, do you give that excuse of, oh, his eye?
No, Wait. Didn't Sugar Ray Leonard suffer a detached retina from Tommy Hearns?
I mean,
and retired,
honestly, I'm
and
glad.
then came back.
I'm actually
It
glad.
happened.
I'm actually glad you're here because I said that. That's the only dude that I can think of that successfully came back from a detached retina. Can you think of another professional fighter that successfully came back from a detached retina?
Yeah.
Because Mares
Yeah.
did not.
Iron Barkley, detached retina.
Okay.
And he knocks out Tommy Hearns he knocked out Tommy Hearns in '88, right?
That's two people though, and you're talking about two legends too.
All right, yeah, he knocks him out, and then he fights him again in '90.
No. Move on. Give me some
92.
more names. More names, because you've only mentioned two legends.
I'm coming. Julian Jackson, detached retina, was banned from fighting in the UK. You're talking to me, Come on, man.
That's why we need you,
right.
Historian.
Right. Yeah, right. So it's not like, guys from a detached retina.
But that's only three people.
No. In the UK, the man who challenged for the world heavyweight title 3 times, and on his 4th attempt he won it, Frank Bruno, had the detached retina.
Right.
They pulled him out. And the thing about it, this is next, because a lot of people don't know this, but he had the detached retina, and he had to go to Cuba to have the operation on his eye. We're talking about Cuban boxing right now. Frank Bruno, another guy. So there's been other guys. Gary Mason, God rest his soul, former British and Commonwealth heavyweight champion, who famously lost to Lennox Lewis. Was that in 1990? He had the detached retina as well. He had to go off. They operated on it, and he came back successfully, defended his British and Commonwealth title a few times. Then he lost to Lennox Lewis. So we cannot say that guys don't. They do, but sometimes when you do get there's loads of guys who get detached retinas, and they sneakily go and have operations we never know about because they don't want to make it public, because you could lose your sight. But the most famous guy from having a detached retina is obviously Sugar Ray Leonard, because he had the detached retina. After the detached retina, he retires. He has one fight against Kevin Howard, which was a lackluster performance. He gets knocked down in the 4th round, stops him in the 9th. Then, what's that? From that time there, it was like nearly 3 years. He comes out of retirement again to fight Marvin Hagler. In April of 1987. So there, off of that, give me a round of applause. So there, that's where we get the guys that is still possible. So what's happened with Errol Spence, I believe if his mind's right, then he's going to be all right. If his mind's right, then he can go fight.
But you're telling me that accident and incident, the accident and now the detached retina, you're not leaning Crawford because of these variables?
No, I'm gonna be real with you, Ness. I was leaning Crawford anyway.
Okay.
I was leaning Crawford because he's the more multifaceted when it comes to skills. I was leaning Crawford, but I've had this argument with Paulie Malignaggi a lot of time. Like Paulie was going big on Errol, saying that he's just be too big, too strong. But people also don't realize just how strong Terence Crawford is. So I'm saying, like, he's very, very skilled. But in the Kavaliauskas fight, I believe he got knocked down in there, and I think like Errol can plant his feet and whack maybe as hard as Kavaliauskas, but his whole game plan isn't to be a power puncher. He's trying to be more multifaceted. He digs to the body really good, and he's a very, very sharp southpaw. But I slightly favored Terence Crawford from way back if they're the full. But now, even more so, with everything that's gone, like the car crash, his performance against Danny, I'm saying, you know what, that didn't really blow me like, oh my goodness gracious. It didn't at all. So I would still have Terence Crawford winning that fight if that fight was to happen.
What's your comparison to the Crawford, Kavaliauskas, Virgil Ortiz? Who you think done it better?
Who do I think done it better? Terence Crawford done it better. You got to think, like, fair play to Ortiz, because Ortiz, when you're a puncher like he is, and his style of fighting, you have to stand in range to deliver those heavy shots, and at the same time you can get countered. So if you notice, like, history will tell you, like, when you're looking at guys who are out and out punchers, their whole ethos about who they are, their punches, they're coming to rough you up. They're going to get tagged because you're in punching range. You're in the trajectory to get hit back yourself, because you have to unleash your shots to generate that power by being close to your opponent. But I think Errol did a sorry, Errol. Terrence did a better job for me as far as I'm concerned, because the skills that he demonstrated, and even though I believe that he got knocked down in that fight, even though it was at the back of the head and it wasn't called a knockdown, but I believe that should have been called a knockdown. But Terrence, as far as I'm concerned, did a better job. But Ortiz he's real, man. I really, really enjoy that guy. He reminds me a little bit of Cotto. He reminds me also. He reminds me of Marquez as well. I rate the guy, I really do. And Eric Morales. If you get all those 3 fights, put them all together, then you got Victor Ortiz. Good fighter, man.
Cotto's biggest win at 140 was Jennings or Ricardo Torres? Is it Torres?
Torres. That was a very, very good win. But you know what? But you say that, I would say no. I think like Cotto's best win
at 40
when he beat Paulie Malignaggi. Remember, he broke Paulie's jaw. Paulie went on, after that fight, Paulie went on to win a world title at 140 and move up to 147 and win a world title as well. So I would say that his best win at 140 was that win.
The reason I asked is because you said Virgil similar to Cotto, and I remember Cotto had a pretty short 140 career, but I do remember him actually winning or doing something significant at 140 before going to 147, where Virgil, I don't think he got the opportunity for that. His hooker fight was at 47, and he left 40 because of his stablemates. He had Mikey at 40, and he had Jose Ramirez at 40. But yeah, man, good welterweight division though. Look, Ugas needed this. There was a certain perception that he was gifted the title, that Pacquiao was stripped unjust. So, this made him an official champion without a doubt.
Of course it did, and you know what? It couldn't happen it couldn't happen to a nicer guy, because, like, anybody who climbs into that ring for the entertainment of us who want to sit down and eat popcorn and watch two guys go at each other, you got to give those guys credit. Now, whether they're doing it for $40 or $40 million, you got to give those guys credit. And as long as guys are going out and they're fighting and they're respecting the noble art or the sport that I emphatically love, then I got to give you nothing but 100% respect. And that's what that's Ugas done the thing. He went out, he did his thing, and he should be congratulated. We shouldn't be working off the fact that, Manny was old or this, or Manny didn't do it. No, he boxed a very good fight, a very, very tactical, smart fight, boxed within himself at times, and then unleashed those overhand rights every now and then. But he was still saying, listen, I'm in there with a legend. And a legend that can, when they say that the old adage is the last thing you get to lose is your punch,
power. Yeah.
Manny can still punch, bro. Right?
It just seemed like he couldn't deliver that. Like he couldn't. It seemed like he couldn't deliver it. I know Ugas' face showed the signs of the fight, but I just never really seen many clean punches. Like, it was difficult for Manny to put together a decent amount of offense. Let me get to this caller here. What looks like Zorro. One moment. Let me get to a caller. Mix it in here. Zorro, what's going on?
What's going on, y'all? Good fight. I like how we get a little mix up. So I think you guys should go fight somebody like Danny. Probably should get in there and fight somebody like Thurman. I mean, the fighters that we were counting on, or they're kind of the distance of those fights seem a little bit bigger now. Ugas can bring some more excitement. Hopefully we can support fighters like that instead of talking down on them, because this is who we have. We don't have Spence right now, and we need to push for Ugas, or push for Terrence Crawford to be the next superstars. We as the fans need to start pushing harder for our fighters. This is our generation of fighters, and it seems like a lot of people do a lot of, I don't want to support this fighter, or I don't want to support that fighter. No, this is our generation of fighters. These are our kings, the four kings. These are the guys we have. Then we need to start pushing them up, and we need to start bigging them up as fans of boxing. And if we don't do that, then everything is always going to look lackluster or mediocre. So we got to push these guys. If Ugas is in there, big guy, super big guy, I would like to see him fight Terrence Crawford. I would like to see him fight Thurman. I would like to see him fight Porter again. I would like to see him fight Virgil Ortiz and Jerron Ennis, so we can start getting a little bit more mixture. And when Spence comes back, I'm not going to say if, because I want Spence to come back. And when Spence comes back, he gets in there, another big welterweight. We need all of these fights. We need to push for all of these fights. Whatever fights they get, we need to push for it, and we need to support it. And it's everybody that clowned the fight. Hey, we had some fighters get hurt, and then you had fighters come in there and get the job done, and you got to show. And now you got a champion right now, and you're going to beat him.
Savannah, Georgia, stand up. Thank you for calling in. Yeah, man, look. We got to big him up. You're absolutely right. I'm a victim. I didn't think Ugas could get it done, man. I didn't. You know, his favorite little combination is like to counter to the body with those little uppercuts, and I just felt like that's gonna, like, I thought Pacquiao was gonna come over the top with the right hook. That's just never happened. He kept the jab on Pacquiao, man. Kept the jab on him.
It was a well-timed. You know what I like about his jab? It was well-timed and it was sharp, and especially when we see like because I mean you posted it on your Instagram, and I put, yeah, that's a torn bicep, because I've had the same thing. I've torn my bicep, and the muscle bulges at the bottom of the arm, right? So maybe the tear wasn't like parts of it was hanging, but I don't think it was a complete full tear. But there was something was wrong with his arm. I'm telling you that now. So
that's what I said. That's another reason why I didn't think. I stopped thinking like, oh, Manny may get the knockout now if this guy can't use his arm. I mean, I didn't understand what we just saw. He had this. It looked like his arm swallowed a baseball, and all of a sudden he can punch on fight night. I'm like,
bro, you know what, Ness? I'll send you the picture when I've done my arm. It was disgusting, and like, yeah, it was really, really bad. So we're going back 2013. So I know the pain that he must have been in, and like prior to the fight, he was icing the arm and everything else. And I don't know like where they were fighting, if you're allowed cortisone injections, but maybe he had a cortisone injection.
A lot of people were assuming that he did get one.
Yeah, well, if he did, like I'm saying, like that's not really cheating. That's to alleviate pain. That's not a cheating substance, right? And fair play to him. He boxed an intelligent fight, and I'm glad that a fighter like that got the win over Manny Pacquiao, because all it's done is put the cat among the pigeons now. So we're going to be looking and saying like, right, well, so what's next for him? Or do we really think that he could be going in with like a Terrence, or he could be going in with a Errol Spence? I believe that he can go in with those guys. I'm not saying he's going to win, but he can go in with them and like let the guy have his day in the sun. How crazy is that? Oh, you're fighting Manny Pacquiao. When? In 11 days' time. That's right. Do you know how crazy that is?
That is.
Right. So when everyone's saying, oh, well, we feel sorry for Manny Pacquiao because, you know, Errol pulled out and they switched the opponent on him, and I get it. So wait, did Ugas have some big training camp where you sitting down saying, I'm waiting for Manny Pacquiao? No. He didn't, did he?
No.
The fight sprung up and he said, you know what? I'm going to grab this thing with two hands. You know what I mean? I'm going to grab this thing with two hands. How much did you get paid yesterday? $3 million?
I don't. Ugas?
Yeah.
They gave him 3 for that?
I don't know. How much do you think? I'm hearing the whispers.
I don't know.
Regardless of what he got, he must have got paid nice. You know what I mean? You're stepping in for this, right? Even though you're not the attraction, he got paid nice. He must have got around about that, I believe. Right? Come on, man. So we'll see now where he goes from here. It's exciting. It's really exciting for the welterweight division, because like over in the UK now we got Conor Ben doing his bits right now. You know what I mean? So
he's got the Granados fight rescheduled, man. It's unfortunate. We wanted that to be over already, so now that one's rescheduled.
Yeah, I know. But you know what? Everything's timing.
How old is he?
Down, wait.
How old is he?
Who, Conor Ben?
Yeah.
I think Conor Ben's 28 now. No, 26.
So how far you think he is from Eddie offering the likes of a Danny, you know, a Thurman, you know, top 5 welterweight a shot?
I'm not quite rightly sure of that. I tell you, we got a kid over in the UK right now, Michael McKinson. Really good kid. Really good. I think he's like number 1 ranked in the WBO.
Yeah.
Right? Like, he's a throwback fighter. He's like a 50s fighter. We got him as well.
Isn't that the guy that beat
Chris Congo?
Who?
He beat Chris Congo.
Yes. And Congo beat Clay.
That's right. So yeah, he's a good fighter.
Yeah, we were high on Congo. I thought Congo was not gonna lose to him.
You know what? A lot of people thought that, but you know what? Michael McKinson he's awkward. He's a southpaw. He's
relentless.
He's big. Yeah, and even though he's not a big puncher, he punches hard enough to gain your respect.
Yeah.
You know, he's one of those kind of guys. So we've got him there as well. But when we're looking like for fan base and stuff, Conor Benn's on another level because
they're saying Conor is really 24. He's 24, so he's still young. He's still young.
Yeah. He's young. But it seems like he's been around for a long time.
But you think a Danny fight is you think he's after Granados? Would you be okay if Eddie announced him versus Danny Garcia?
Would be okay with that fight, but unfortunately, cause Danny is with PBC, I couldn't see that fight happening.
Well, I mean, there's no USA boxing schedule for DAZN, so I mean, that fight could happen, and it could be DAZN UK. And
it could do.
And USA, it could be, you know, I don't know, maybe Showtime or something crazy.
You know what I mean? Out of all of the guys that you've called, that would be like the kind of right step, because like no disrespect to Danny, but he's seen better days. You know what I mean? He's still a good fighter, a hell of a fighter, but he's seen better days.
He needs a win, or no one. I mean, when's the last time he won?
It's been a little while.
And even if you find a win, he needs a legitimate welterweight win, you know, because I think, you know, he's beat guys like Guerrero, Granados, and Redcatch at welterweight.
You know what? Danny versus it's mad they say because Danny. Danny.
I think he fought Berto, right, or was that Porter?
No, that was Porter, right? Danny versus Ben would be a great fight because their styles would complement each other. We see Danny having trouble when guys box with him, right? Right?
Yeah,
even though
Ben will bring the fight to him allegedly.
Yeah, right. So when you see that kind of Danny, so they would complement each other. I'm telling you that now, because right now Conor Benn's calling out to fight. He's called out Sean Porter, like you say. You want to mix with those kind of guys, right? But
I mean, shouldn't Eddie give him like Khan or Brook domestically?
Listen, well, Khan and Brook are meant to be fighting. They're meant to be fighting in October, so it's all over the place because that fight allegedly was going to be announced for Sky, but then last week we're seeing Amir Khan sat down with Eddie Hearn and tweeting out the DAZN hashtag and stuff. So we don't know where that fight's gonna go. But what I'm gonna say,
but how can it be on Sky? Who's gonna be the promoter?
Oh, Sky they're working with this new guy now, Ben Shalom, young kid. He does this tournament called the Ultimate Boxer, and they're using him. But he's very green. To tell you, I'm just gonna be real with you. He's very green. But Sky are using him. But they're also using a guy called Johnny Wish, who used to work for Matchroom. So he's the kind of like the advisor behind everything for the shows and stuff. And they're meant to be making an announcement. So I'm sitting down with my popcorn waiting for this announcement when Sky go out and make their announcement for what they're going to do for their fight schedule. But right now in the UK, there's only 2 promoters who have got the champions, and that's Eddie Hearn and Frank Warren. This guy Ben ain't got no champions, so it's gonna be kind of like an uphill struggle for him. But I wish him all the best. But if you're a fighter in America and you're looking, you want to try to contact Sky right now because allegedly they're paying some big money for fights to come out of there. So we'll see what's gonna happen, man.
Well, they showed the Pacquiao fight for free. We got a super chat from what Rapid that says, "Saludos a Cuba por tener un nuevo campeón. Merecido. Earned. We got New York City, David Maldonado. What's going on? Actually, Stainless, I'm sorry. What's going on, brother? Are you available, Stain? Let's say yes.
Yeah, you can hear me.
I hear you.
Oh man, I'm probably the only one excited about this loss, man. Shout out to Ugas, man. I take my crow this evening, because I've been looking for Manny Pacquiao to lose or at least get taken away from them belts so he can't keep taking them back over to the Philippines and hold them hostage. Look, Manny Pacquiao is a legendary fighter, 8 division champion, what 20 years, almost 20 years professional. The guy's done his thing. But between him taking them belts back over to the Philippines and holding them hostage and usually trying to find who he considers the weakest competition or the easiest prey, the last few years I haven't been excited about Manny Pacquiao as a fan. So I'm looking forward to him taking on his Senate seat and, even going for presidency and doing something outside of boxing. He's a great man who, as we've all discussed, has been the Muhammad Ali of the Philippines. So go ahead and do that, man. Focus on that and let these young dogs fight, man. You know what I'm saying? I'm excited. We got Ugas in the mix now. I think Spencer Fearon had it right. Keith Thurman's a great fight. Keith Thurman let him do a build-up fight in between. They can fight on the same pay-per-view as co-main events, setting up the super fight for the next fight, man. It's a great idea to me. Either way, no matter who wins, we know that those next fights are going to be great fights, man. We got an opportunity for this generation to have it. We're talking, 4, 5, 6 kings now. And just do it. It's 4 kings because it's 4 belts unless the IBO get real. But, you know what I'm saying, there's an opportunity to do it. So I'm going to celebrate it. You know what I'm saying? Congratulations to Ugas. Congratulations to JT from New Orleans, because he talked me under the table about how Ugas was going to win. And I totally agree with him. But like you, Ness, I thought the politics and just the name Manny Pacquiao would be enough for him to get that gift decision. So I'm all right with taking that crow. Hey, shout out to Spencer Fearon for coming on, man. I never get to be on here while he's on here. It's usually afterwards or after the show. But that guy's a true boxing historian. I don't always agree with his opinion on boxing, but he always got them facts when it comes to the history. So it's a good, entertaining listen for me too. You know what I'm saying? And that's all I got, man.
That's Stainless from Detroit. Stainless from Detroit.
Bro, Stainless from Detroit. Big up, man. Listen, bro. This how it goes. This is like, I've never learned anything from anyone that's agreed with me. So, when the respect is the fact that you don't have to agree with everything I say. I don't want everyone to agree with everything I say or my opinions on what I've got, because they're my opinions. My opinions are right for me, just like your opinions are right for you. But what I do love and respect is, like, every time that I come on the Boxing Voice, I get mad love from the USA. And that means a lot to me. Trust me, it means a lot to me. So thank you very much, Stainless, yeah?
Let me get to Counterpunch. Coach Rivera, talk to me. Coach Rivera.
Hello?
Yep, we hear you.
Okay. Well, that was a while back that I said that, and I was just going to say, for me, Keith Thurman makes sense, 2 years out, and he has a loss against Pacquiao that should be eating him in the head. But I'm going to switch to something else. I know y'all mentioned Virgil Ortiz. I don't know if it's the matchmaker Diaz or Ortiz manager, but you know what? I also over here, Rashidi Ellis been asking for that fight for the longest. They need to stop protecting Virgil Ortiz. It's the only fight that Rashidi makes sense for Rashidi because they're in the same side of the street, and they need to stop protecting Virgil. You know, if they don't think Rashidi's not worth it, but if they think Chidi is a cherry, take the fight. You know, it's an undefeated fighter. It's not like Chidi has a couple of losses or anything. So that's my thing. I'm tired of Golden Boy holding back Rashidi. You know, they need to pay to either give him a good fight or at least put somebody from the same stablemate that is popping right now.
Yeah. Well, Coach, man, thank you for calling in. You know, it would be great to see Rashidi get that Blake. What's his name? Not Blake. Fuck. What's his name? That's actually not good if you can't remember his name, but it's Blair Cobbs. Give him the Blair Cobbs fight, man. I like that
Blair
Blair
the Flair?
Blair the Flair, man. Blair the Flair, man. I didn't know you was back, man. You going in and out. Yeah, give him the Blair Cobbs fight. No, I'm talking about when you, I don't know if you know, but when you answer your call, then we get the big Skype logo or whatever, so. But,
Okay.
yeah, man, Blair the Flair would not be a bad fight. And I get what Coach Rivera's saying. Rashidi's over there, you know, it's an in-house fight to make, so what's the problem? But I think Rashidi needs to exit, man. It's been way too long that he's been having the same problem. He's like the Demetrius Andrade of welterweight division. Show Kid says, told y'all Ugas was going to shock the world. Inactivity is the worst thing that could happen to an old fighter. Got my $75 back. Thanks, Ugas. All right. Shout out to you. We got another counterpunch from Seattle, Washington. Mr. PBC, talk to me.
Yo, I got a question to ask y'all. So now that we know everything that happened with Manny's team, his sparring partners, and Ugas' sparring partners,
What you mean? What happened?
Maurice Lee, do you think this played into effect, having a sparring partner that was with Manny and then helped you out and also was in your camp?
Nah, man.
For Ugas?
Nah.
I'm just saying. I'm trying to give the Manny boys, you know, a little help.
First of all,
But,
Maurice Lee ain't the southpaw man. He's never gonna be the southpaw man he is.
I got a question. So since the $40 million is real, do we believe that the $50 million was real back in the day?
You gotta ask Spencer that. I believe it.
That's my call.
Spence, they teasing you, Spence. Spence wanna ignore that one. We going out to James Payne. Lethal. What up?
What up? James Payne is my name, partner. How about you? Standing on my property and I'm gonna see about you. If I come out on my porch, I see you chilling in your wheel. Boy, I hope you know somebody better be waiting on the bitch. James Payne, baby, see me pissing on the post. If we're playing basketball, you might see me in the post.
Top of the morning, TBV. How the audio sound?
You good? What up?
Man, I'm chilling, bro, man. Thank you for the show this morning. Big up to Mr. Spencer over there in the UK, dropping in knowledge and educating the boxing community like he do, man. Like I can't say every time I hear that, man, he's very consistent in his thoughts and his analysis. Man, I enjoyed the fight last night. It was a great occasion, man. Turning of the guard, man. You know what I'm saying? We got the old guard heading out, and we got a new gen coming in. And the reason that I'm really happy for Ugas, man, 4 losses, and he's the world champion, and he's at the top of the mix of the welterweight division. I like that, man, because I think we give too much. We talk about it all the time. You know, we give too much credence to the O. Everybody's trying to protect their O's, but that man getting in there, mixing it up, is not over for you if you taking the loss. You can be a world champion. You can climb to the mountaintop, and you can be up there with the rest of the Lions. Hopefully Earl will come back, man, but you know what I'm saying? I'm not very optimistic, man. This is like 2 serious things that he's been going through in his career, and I wish him the best. It's actually my favorite welterweight fighter, man, and I hope that he's able to climb back. But right now, it's all about Ugas. You know what I'm saying? He looks like a world champion. He living a championship lifestyle, and now he got the title officially to boot. So congratulations, Ugas. Thank you, TBV, for the time, the platform, the content, man. I'm gonna hang up and listen to the other callers.
All right. New York City, David Maldonado.
What he done to the boxing world to be number one in the junior weight division.
Yo, good morning, man.
Good morning.
Yo, I was thinking, Cuba is like in the top 4 as far as Latino countries that produce champions, along with Mexico, Puerto Rico, and Argentina. This might be the biggest win in Cuban boxing history that I can think of. I would have to do a real research on that, but yeah, man, it was a good fight. I'm surprised that they didn't take it from Ugas. I thought they was going to take it from him because the announcers were making it seem like Manny was winning the fight. He was throwing his flurries, but Ugas has good defense. He's a good counterpuncher, and Ugas is not going to be a walk in the park for anybody. He might get some wins over some of these guys, man. As far as Manny Pacquiao goes, I think he should retire. But Ugas is going to be there for a little while. I think Spence would have stopped Manny Pacquiao had he been in there with him that night instead of Ugas. I think Crawford would have stopped him.
Spence ain't stopped Mikey. Why people keep saying that? Everybody, he would have stopped Pacquiao. He ain't stopped Mikey. He ain't stopped Danny. He ain't stopped Porter. Like, what are we talking about?
Well, I'm going to tell you this. When he fought Mikey Garcia went in there to survive. That's the difference. Manny Pacquiao is not going to go in there and try to survive.
He didn't stop him.
No, he didn't stop him. He didn't stop him, but I think he would have stopped Manny. I think he would have stopped him. I think Bud would stop him. I think Ugas, they should hold him for Bud. Whereas Bud really does the right thing, fight Porter, and then leave his contract and go over to PBC. I think Ugas should be an introduction fight in PBC. So by the time Earl recovers, God willing, I keep him in prayers, Crawford will have another belt to bring to the table. So the split could be a little bit more closer to down the middle because Spence obviously is the A side. What you think about that?
I mean, listen, man, if it goes the way you're saying and he signs the PBC, I guess that makes sense. But we'll see, man. That's a tall task to ask, That looks like we got to all our callers. Keem, did we get to you? I think I tried you. And we got some callers on Blog Talk. If you don't press 1, we don't know that you want to talk. We going to J. Will in Ohio. What's going on?
You should lie low. Killer, I used to get it in Ohio.
Yeah, man. Yeah, man, good fight last night, man. I guess my whole outlook
you sound disappointed, man. You don't sound happy. He muted himself in there. What you got? The kids in the background? We're going to go to Miami. Who's in Miami? Who's this? 305. Anthony, what's going on, brother?
Anthony. I'm good. I have a question for you guys. Do you guys think, let's say, do you think Virgil after his dominant win, defending his title, do you think he's ready for Ugas or Crawford, or do you think he needs another fight, in your honest opinion?
Virgil looks good, man. Spence, what you think? Is he ready for an Ugas or a Crawford right now? I mean, listen, you got to take your shot. He's young enough. He's strong enough. What do you think? Is Virgil ready for a title shot versus Ugas or Crawford right now?
Who?
Virgil Ortiz.
Well, of course he's ready, right? But he's ready. He's ready right now. But the safest bet for him is 2 to 3 more fights. Right?
Damn.
But
3 more before the title?
2. Yeah, bro. How old is he?
Maybe 23.
23, right? He's a young kid, right? So you're going up with. Listen, Ugas is 35 years old.
That's why you get him now. He on a chopping block.
He ain't on a chopping block, bro.
He getting old.
He had that win yesterday.
He getting
you know
old.
what that's done? You know what that's done for his confidence?
He getting
Come
old.
on, man.
Virgil
There's
is
gotta be
23.
I'm saying, I just believe, like, because he wants it so much. He's saying, I'm saying, oh no, not even 3 fights, 2 more fights, then get his chance for a world title. That's my thing, right? The guy on the outside right now is Boots Ennis. I'd like to know what he's gonna go do, right? But yeah, I'm saying 2 more fights and then put him in for a title shot, because I'm saying to guys, do not underestimate Ugas. Like, he just had a fantastic win last night. Do not underestimate him. The other guys with the titles, Errol Spencer's going to be out for a hot minute. Terrence Crawford, we don't know what Terrence Crawford's doing right now. Right?
Yeah.
We don't. Right? So, but out of the bunch right now in the welterweight division, I'll say that Errol's the best welterweight. I said this already. The best pound-for-pound fighter in the world is Terrence Crawford. So he'll be ranked higher than him on the pound-for-pound list. But as a welterweight and the wins that Errol Spence has had and how he's demonstrated, even when it's been like kind of semi-lackluster performances, it's still been good wins over good notable men, right? The win over Danny is a good win. The win over Mike is a good win. The win over Sean Porter is a good win. These stack up.
Yeah. Mad Ben in Kansas City. What up?
What up, what up, what up?
How are you?
Hey, Ness. I'm good. Thank God you wasn't judging that fight last night. Oh, my God. You'd have been raging this morning. Yeah, man. I just thought to gloat a little bit because I put it in all my super chats. I told you Father Time and Ugas' fist was going to be the difference.
Yeah.
Whether people want to know it or not, Manny got old. He was old. You saw it in his face. You saw it in his body. Ugas was standing in front of him, and he couldn't land punches. He was coming up short. Every time Ugas hit him with the right hand, whether he blocked it or not, he was getting tossed around the ring. He was, oh, and then at the end he was, oh, my legs got stiff. And he always got an excuse. The shoulder, the legs. You need to go in the seawater. But shout out to Manny Pacquiao. And shout out to the boxing voice. Shout out to Spencer.
Shout
My
out.
brethren from England. Big up. All right, man. That's my call.
Shout out to you, man. We going out to Jay Will. What up?
Yeah. What up, man? Yeah, man. I was kind of disappointed, man, last night, man. I kind of wanted to see, hopefully, that Spence Manny fight. I was still hoping to see that, but you know, I guess it's a gift in a way, because I'd rather see Manny. This is going to be his last fight. You know, go out the way he did, man. You know, he didn't get beat up too bad. You know, he just got kind of pecked to death. A couple of decent little blows, but you know, we didn't see the man, you know, go out on a knockout. You know what I'm saying, like Roy Jones or something. So, you know, I guess that was the little, I guess, gift in this whole situation. If that is his last fight, but got to give Ugas his credit, man. He's a solid fighter. He may not be the most entertaining fighter, but you know, he definitely is. He's solid, man. He is going to be tougher than any other top guys to beat. I'm not sure if anybody said this. I haven't heard anybody speak on this, but old boy, forgot his name, but Floyd Mayweather's right hand man, not not Ellerby, but his cousin was saying we may see a Pac-Man versus Floyd exhibition now. I think it's funny that Floyd would now, or the camp now, would make those rumblings of now being okay to do a fight, because obviously, Pac-Man looks a little older, a little slower.
Man, they throwing him a bone. Why you think Floyd doing it because he looks slower? He throwing him a bone. Floyd's career's been perfect. He not doing it because, oh, now's the right time. I already beat you in your prime when everybody thought you was going to be.
Okay, well, my only kind of argument to that, Ness, my only kind of argument to that.
More in prime, bro. Come on, man.
Huh?
Neither of them were in their prime when they.
Man, listen. Pacquiao was in his prime enough to fool everybody, and everyone thought he was going to beat Floyd, except the real people that knew boxing.
Ness, don't be silly, man. I'll show you all of that. I was murdering Johnny Nelson, the former WBO World Cruiserweight Champion, Britain's second longest ever reigning world champion. And I told everybody that that's easy work for Floyd. And it was easy work for Floyd. But I'm saying they both were not in their peak. Let's just call it as it is.
I mean,
right?
So I don't know.
Let's come on. I like to argue with you as well.
I know, I hear you, but see, this whole prime argument is such a subjective argument. Like, you can't.
It's not subjective.
How?
Was it the Manny Pacquiao? Hold up. Was it the Manny Pacquiao that knocked out Ricky Hatton? That Manny Pacquiao? No, it wasn't. And was it the Floyd Mayweather that put in a tremendous masterclass against Gatti? No, it wasn't. It was two men past their best who fought each other. They made a lot of money, but the fight was 5 years too late. It don't make no difference because the fight still happened. And it doesn't make, even if it was a prime, in my opinion, my honest opinion, even if it was a prime Manny Pacquiao from the Manny Pacquiao back when he knocked out Ricky Hatton, I still believe that Floyd Mayweather would have beaten that Manny Pacquiao. Doesn't make a difference, but they didn't fight in their prime. So let's cut that bullshit.
Listen, no, I hear you, man. I hear you. But for me, boxing has us so numb that, fights not happening in the first year, 5 years, 7 years, that's normal. So I'm not considering neither of those men out of their prime because while they weren't fighting each other, they were dusting off everyone else.
Ness, how old are you now?
I'm 42.
You're 42. Well, you carry it good. Cause I didn't even know, right? You're 42. Ness, you can't fuck like when you was 22.
Nah, I can tell you that. I hear you. I'm not here to say anything different. Bro. I hear you, though. I hear you. But Floyd wasn't 42 when he fought Manny. Floyd was
He was still old.
What was he? Maybe 36, if that, 34? What was Floyd? He
36.
36? Come on, man. That's what I'm saying. Like, we turn around and say a fighter at 23 can't be in his prime because he hasn't got enough experience. Then we turn around and say a fighter with experience at 36 is out of his prime.
I wanted this shit, because I like arguing with you because you're my guy.
No, I just want to be taught. I just want to be taught. I want you to teach me when is a person's prime. Like, because everyone's prime is in a different age. It's like Danny was in his prime when he beat what? Amir Khan? You see what I'm saying? Exactly.
He was in his prime.
So really what you're telling us is we got to pick and choose your best win and say that was your prime. I don't know.
No, because there's certain guys who have had great wins when they're old. When Ali beat George Foreman 1974 October, that wasn't Ali at his best. He weren't at his best then. He was past his best then, right? The Thriller Manila, when they fought in 75, Ali versus Joe Frazier for the third time, Ali weren't at his best, Frazier weren't at his best, but they put them together and made a great fight. But they were not at their best. They weren't at their primes, they weren't at their peak. Ali's peak, you got to go to like his peak when he was like, oh my goodness gracious, what I'm watching here. The time when he beat Cleveland Williams, the Ali that reigned supreme from when winning the world title in 1964, February 25th, up to the time when they took away his title. So you go from there to like 60, 67. Yeah, that guy was wicked. But when he came back, that wasn't the same guy. So you say like, wow, when were you in your prime? Right, you can have great wins when you're not in your prime, but it's still not your prime. That's what I'm saying. That weren't his prime. Floyd Mayweather, Manny Pacquiao, when they fought each other, that was not in their prime. Let's be real. And you could not speak to anybody who's my sister from another mister to come on the thing.
Stop. We have to talk Jamaican. We say, walk on. And then we have to say, Hola. ¿Cómo estás, mi hermanos? ¿Todo bien?
What's up, Lady Shan?
Yeah. What's going on? Ready?
I'm glad that you've come in here. Tell me this now. Was Manny Pacquiao and Floyd Mayweather, when they fought each other, were they in their prime?
No, because we wanted that fight like 4 years.
Don't say nothing else. That's it. That's what I wanted to say. And it's a Sunday afternoon in the UK. I was so blessed, and I got to jump on that because it's my dinner time for me to sit down with my kids and that, and they're waiting for that to come and say the prayers with me. It's been a pleasure being on the reels, Ness. No, I don't stop big you up, you're my guy. You know what I mean? And I've got to talk to you afterwards because I know No Label Sports have got something for you to show the support. So when you're done, in about an hour or so, give me a call. We're going to hook up this, chop this up. You know I'm taking 25% though. It's all good.
And I'm taking 5 just for knowing you.
Yeah.
All right, man.
Chan, Why?
Benny.
Let the wig look good enough.
You love it.
Let her look bossy still enough. Pop. We're for killing
Bashment
anytime.
style, you didn't see me? We tell them, say anytime. See me dying. Police authorities and them a fight crime. We do it all the time. We turn into great. We turn into
No, seriously, every single person that's right out. Hey, Shan, I get mad love from when I'm on the show from America. I get mad love. So, you know what I mean? Big up. I forgot the brother's name who's on the thing as well.
King Amin.
Appreciate it, brother. Shout out to you, Spencer.
Yeah, man, a pleasure, man. I'm gonna start supporting your thing. Send me a DM so I can follow you on Insta. Yeah, because that's what I'm all about spreading. Keep doing your thing, Ness.
Oh, for sure, man. Thank you.
UK and USA together in harmony.
Oh, thank you, man. Appreciate it. Appreciate the kind words.
Little more, Zing.
Yo, if you enjoyed the video, feel free to hit the like, subscribe, and share. As always, if you want to support us to the next level, head over to the patreon.com/ThaBoxingVoice. We have tons of exclusive from Border Wars, from title, betting shows, the list goes on and on and on. But in addition to that, if you guys have questions for fighters, trainers, and promoters, this is where you can submit them. We will run out, get these questions answered, and put it back on the show just for you guys. Appreciate it. Peace.